so excited to have a great turnout today, and I think it's because of the topic. So first of all, I introduce myself, Deborah Prinzing, founder of the Slow Flower Society. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary of launching slowflowers.com, if you can believe it. And it's so great to see so many familiar faces who are here. Our last Slow Flowers monthly meetup before our summer break. But the exciting thing is we are going to meet with two of our featured speakers at the upcoming Slow Flowers Summit. I'm excited because they're going to touch on a lot of things that cross over between flower farming and floral design. And if you have any questions, feel free to add them into the chat, and we'll have time toward the end to let people ask questions. Tonley Gruder, our membership manager, is here, and you can DM her in the chat as well if you have any specific questions about Slow Flowers membership, Slow Flowers Summit coming up. And I think that's all the housekeeping there is. It's for those of you who do not know, the Slow Flowers Summit is coming up June 23rd through 25th in Banff, Alberta, Canada. Our first Canadian, our first international summit, our 7th annual summit. So we're very excited about that. And we have 10 amazing speakers, all Canadian experts in horticulture and flower farming and floral design, and almost all of them are members. So we're delighted to feature two longtime Slow Flowers members today, Melanie Harrington of Dahlia Mayflower Farm and Janis Harris of Harris Flower Farm. They're both Ontario gals. So right in the middle of the country, or kind of Eastern Canada. I think what we'll do is we'll do a Q&A with Melanie for the first 20 minutes, and then we'll pivot into a Q&A with Janis, and then we'll have time for a roundtable of questions at the end. So welcome, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and put the highlight on Melanie and see if we can get started. Okay, there we go. Melanie, welcome. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. So good to be here.
I was fondly recalling when we met in person we were in Ontario for an ASCFG conference, and Janis, of course, was involved with it. I think Janis was the board member for ASCFG when that happened.
Yes.
And I have vivid memories of sitting under a tree in a field chatting with you.
Yes. It was at La Primavera Farms.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you remember that. Yeah,
totally
I love it. And I will put the link to that interview in the chat so people can go back and listen. It was 2018, or I believe.
Gosh, feels like I built a brand new business in that whole time. Feels like so long ago. It would be fun to go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, you should. And actually, Janis, did I hear you say 18 or 17?
17, yeah.
Okay, wow. 6 years later, here we are, and we're finally bringing Slow Flowers to Canada, to Alberta. So I'm really psyched about that. Okay, I'll put that link in the chat. Lots has happened at Dahlia Mayflower Farm. Anyone who follows, I think what inspired me to want to hear more and feature you on an episode, Melanie, was your talk that you gave at ASCFG, which at the time was kind of early days in Instagram for flower farming, and you talked about how you use social media. You still are quite present on social media, and that's how you connect with your community, right?
It is. Yes, absolutely. And it's also evolved too, as well as using social media. I think one of the big evolutions that I found in connecting with our customers is using social media now as a tool to get our folks on my emailed newsletter. So much, there's so much to talk about, I think, in email marketing as well these days. And that's kind of the direction that I've started to pivot to speak directly to my customers, and just learning how to use social media as that tool to get people over to that newsletter so that I can connect directly.
Okay, I think I know why that's important, but maybe you can just give me the basics.
Yes. Okay, I love talking about this. So when we were originally talking social media, it was 2017, as Janis mentioned. And it was kind of like the heyday of, I hate being that person that's like, it was the good old days. But Instagram was very different. I think we all know back then where, you would post a beautiful photo and you would get, in my case, a couple of thousand likes. And it was so easy to spread the word. And it's so funny because so much has changed that these days I could post that same stunning photo and maybe I'm getting 200 likes.
Mm.
Because the algorithm, and I've more than doubled my audience since then. So the algorithm is kind of that changing beast. And I think what I have really been kind of focusing on and learning over the pandemic is how do we not be beholden to said algorithm? Because I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but as the algorithm has changed and it's requiring like the reels and the trending audios and things like that, I'm just not a person that's like ever going to like dance to anything. Or I just don't have the sense of humor to make like the funny little, I don't know. I feel like I'm too serious that I don't make the like funny little videos that go
Well,
viral.
you're not here to entertain.
Just, yeah, that's exactly it. I think so many of us can relate to like, we are working full time on our farms, and it's already enough to be owning a business, farming full time. Now all of a sudden we're expected to be these content creators. We're supposed to be learning video editing and doing all the things. And I don't know about anyone else, but I just can't keep up with it. So I've been learning over the past few years, like, how do I navigate this changing online landscape, and still stay true to myself and what I have time for, but also keep my audience engaged. So I really,
you know your audience because they are people who've come to your farm to buy flowers from you. They feel
yes,
invested in your business, right?
yes. So one thing I've been focusing on these last couple of years is I'm still very active on my Instagram stories, because I feel like that is the way that I'm actually speaking directly to my community. That's where customers can DM me. I can get in the chat. I can answer their questions specifically. It's such a tangible way to connect. I can share a link with them. If I post a beautiful bouquet and they're like, oh, do you deliver? I can DM them the link right in the stories of like, hey, we do deliver. Here's the link to purchase that exact bouquet.
Wow.
So I've definitely been really focusing on like getting in the DMs and building those connections with people. But I would love to touch on email marketing a little bit, because I think that we all know that we are in some ways beholden to the algorithm. And I just as like for some metrics, I am finding that if I'm posting a photo on, say, Instagram with text telling my customers, like, here's where my product will be this week, maybe 2% of my audience on a good day will see that. And this is spread out over 100,000 plus followers,
right?
Maybe 2% on a good day. When I am focusing on my email newsletter and I'm sending out that message, I've got about 7,000 folks on my email newsletter these days, and we're getting a 55% open rate. So
that's over 3,000 right there.
Exactly. Versus that such a small amount of people that are seeing. I think the other day I was looking at one of my Instagram posts and it had like 0.25% of my audience was what it actually reached.
So your 100,000 followers, or give or take, on Instagram have to be lured to migrate over to sign up for your newsletter.
That's right.
And you've got 7,000 or 8,000 of them. So that's a pretty good start, but that's not even 10%.
That is correct.
Wow. And so what are the things that you do to funnel people into that? I think that's the term, into that sign up, that landing page.
Absolutely. So what I'm doing to funnel people over is I'm always trying to create something that they would find valuable. Like when it is time for us to, say, sell our Dahlia tubers in the spring, which I think a lot of flower farmers kind of count on that income of selling Dahlia tubers in the spring. I spend my winter, my like January, February, those quote unquote quiet months, creating some online resources. So I will have on my website a growing guide for how to grow your dahlias. I'll have a like what to expect when your tubers arrive, or I'll have an article on the website talking about like size of tubers and does size matter. I'll create all these little posts, say, as a blog on my website. And then when it comes time to talk about my Dahlia tubers, I'll say, hey, if you guys, I'm sending out an email tomorrow that's going to have my full growing guide. If you want that guide, you're going to want to pop over to the newsletter and share that link. And really, that's how I've built my audience on the email newsletter, because 7,000 people aren't going to be like, what I would love is to give out my email address for free.
Yeah.
Because I think
Well,
we get too many emails too, right?
it's the give
Like,
and take. So they give you their email and
yeah,
they receive from you some content that's valuable.
absolutely. And
Wow.
I'm taking my quiet months to create that content. And I do that all year round. So right now we're in the thick of peony season. So I've created a resource on how to make your cut peonies last longer. So the other day, then I sent out an email like, hey guys, like just here's some tips just to provide like that free
Yeah.
content. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that idea of serve, 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 sell.
Yeah.
So I've sent out an email like how to make your bouquet last longer. During lilac season, we'll do care tips on how to make your lilacs, your cut lilacs, if you're cutting from your own garden, how to make those last longer. Just creating those little resources to add value.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So what are they going to the link in your profile to click on that and sign up for the newsletter? How do they sign up for the newsletter?
They will. Yeah, they'll go. I'll either in my Instagram stories, I'll share a link for them to sign up. Sometimes I've tried it a few different ways actually, because sometimes I find people don't actually want to do the work. They want the thing, but they don't want to do the work of signing up, even though the sign up is just one click. So
Right.
sometimes I'll just say, hey, I'm sending out that newsletter tomorrow, and it's got my full guide on how to grow ranunculus corms. DM me your email address and I'll
Okay.
sign you up. And then more work on my part for sure. Administrative headache, of course, because then you're getting DMs with all these email addresses, but you're getting the email addresses.
Yeah.
And I find more than twice as many people will do that as me saying, hey, here's the link, sign up for the newsletter.
Well, in the big go-go world of marketing, you hear about customer acquisition costs, and people are spending like $75 to acquire a new customer, or some outrageous number like that, which of course you do not have those funds.
Exactly.
You have your time.
Yes, that's exactly it. And I think that's an easy one for like, I'm fortunate that I do have a staff. So I do have an admin person that she can go in through the DMs and she'll bang out all those. But I know not everyone has that. But that is also something that even just like, there's like, you could get family to help with that. Like, even if like you have a mom or an aunt that just wants to spend like 2 hours a week doing that kind of thing in exchange for a bouquet, there's lots of little ways. Some of us have tech savvy children
Right.
that would be 3 times as good as us at any of these things.
Oh
So
my
there's
gosh.
to do it for
Well,
sure.
I'm gonna pop up just for fun, I'm gonna pop up your website on the screen so you can show people where to go if they aren't already following you. And this is really just like marketing 101. Like you said, even somebody who wants to work from their kitchen table 2 hours a week might be a really affordable way to do it, especially because they like to get paid in flowers, which some people do. Not to take away from paying people, but
No, goodness, no, of course.
so where do you go?
To sign up for the website.
Yeah,
I haven't been on the front facing end of it, right at the bottom.
Okay. It's such
on the front facing part in so long. I'm always on the back end.
That's okay. I want to come shop your merch. My goodness, your Dahlia tuber sales going on. It's so pretty.
It's like right at the bottom of the page. You can sign
and
up
here,
for it.
get directions. Here's some reviews. Get in touch with us. So
it should be
sign up right here. Sign up for our email newsletter to be the first. All right, I'm going to sign up right now. I probably am already signed up.
And it's funny, if I was like a hardcore marketer, what I would actually be doing is have a pop-up on the website. I know a lot of folks do that where they've got a pop-up immediately on the website to sign up for the newsletter. Right. I just happen to be one of those people that I hate going on those websites.
I think more realistically, most people are coming to you through a mobile device, which is why you're putting the link on or offering to do it for them. Okay. Yeah. I told you we were going to talk about being a farmer florist and your business niche specifically.
I know. And here I'm talking email marketing.
No, it's on me. I appreciate you just rolling with it. But we have about, 7 more minutes before we jump to Janis. You're sitting there with ranunculus that are as large as your head. Tell us what you're growing and kind of what your channels are and what the key buckets at Dahlia Mayflower Farm are currently, because I know it's changed over the years.
It has. So one of the most valuable things that I have learned over the years, I think many farmer florists start out this way, where you're online and you want to grow all the things. Very easy to get into, especially if you're a flower nerd that just loves flowers. Very easy to get into this thing of wanting to grow 100 different varieties. And what I've learned is it's not really possible or practical, especially when you're just starting out and you don't have a support team and all of the infrastructure to be growing 100 different things really well. So what I do here at our farm is even though we're 10 years old this May, so I would consider us maybe an established farm. I think we're at the point where like there's no backing out. This is what I'm doing.
You're the young adult flower farm.
We're in. That's right. Sometimes I feel like we're still in the awkward teenage years, but maybe we are a young adult now. What we do is we only grow about 10 different things. And then any of the other things that we do, we fill in with other flower growers. We're really fortunate that we're located in an area where there's so many amazing growers within a 2 to 3 hour distance of us.
Wow.
So what my season looks like is we start out with tulips and with daffodils. So in the winter, we'll do forced tulips in our heated greenhouse. We just added that a couple of years ago. And then we move to outdoor tulips and outdoor daffodils. We'll go into ranunculus after that. Ranunculus are currently, yay, blooming.
Gorgeous.
And then we hit peony season. Then after peony season, we kind of have our perennials sort of get us through. Just in the last year, we've established some perennials that are like early summer flowering that kind of get us through in July, because July is always that awkward month for us where like we're weeding, watering, and waiting. And then
the three W's. I've never heard that before.
And then by the end of July, boom, we're into full scale summer. And we do a lot of simple annuals. I so admire the people that do all the fancy, trendy, cool things. And we are not those people. We do a lot of really practical things to make mixed bouquets for our community. So lots of zinnias, sunflowers, strawflower, marigolds, celosia, really maybe a half a dozen, the amaranthus, a half a dozen things like that are really simple, solid basics. And it's so funny, I do see so many beautiful trendy things online and I can't help but like still champion the humble zinnia. Yeah. Because the seed is inexpensive and it's a workhorse that's going to bloom, for 3 months. So we do a lot of that.
I see that you've got Nigella in the vase there with the ranunculus and maybe some snapdragons. I mean, are these things that you're acquiring?
Foxglove.
Oh, that's a foxglove.
That's out of the perennial patch. Sweet William, we grew that as well. Yarrow, we've got a little yarrow going in here. That's out of the perennial patch. Nigella, we got from another farmer. Kind of mixing it. My friend Carl grew the mock orange that we've got in these little vases. So kind of filling in like that. Our dahlias are our high maintenance divas that get us through the summer and the fall. And then our season kind of ends with the first frost, usually in October. We do have a couple of hoop houses that we'll grow dahlias in that'll kind of get us through the end of October. And then we switch immediately, kind of at the end of October, boom, Christmas time for us. And we switch into a full, and that's a whole other conversation that I'm happy to chat about, but we do a full Christmas thing.
Well, I've watched you and it feels like you've become almost like an independent garden center or nursery, the way you're selling your winter product, potted product, and all the conifers, right?
Yes, which was kind of accidental because in my first couple of years, we didn't do any of that. And then I learned, oh my gosh, if I ever intend to pay my mortgage, doing things from May till October simply isn't going to do it. Having 6 months off, quote unquote, even though of course there's things to do, is not actually going to pay my bills. And I kind of had to get creative then and be like, all right, what does it look like to develop this into something that will be happening all year? And also to keep the momentum with my customers, because I think there's so much flower excitement, right? In the season, in the summer. And then I think I see some businesses make the mistake that like they're tired by October and they just fall off the radar.
Right.
And I can totally relate to that exhaustion for sure.
You're tired, but you keep going because you are a
Yeah.
little bit of an energizer bunny, Melanie.
Well, sort of. It's partially that, and partially I've learned to do some good planning.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
kind of worked as an idea of like, how do we engage with our community more regularly so that we are top of mind
Yeah.
for them to come to us?
Well, I've written about you multiple times, and we featured your your beautiful farm stand in the book Slow Flowers Journal, Volume 1. And that
Very cool.
farm stand is really kind of your iconic branding, I would say, and so what people know they can come to. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that works now?
I would love to talk about that. So we have done a really cool thing where I started, just to give kind of just the overarching journey. When I started this business 10 years ago, it was literally a wooden pallet on my front yard, and it had some cute little signage, and there was a cash box, and it was self-serve. And I did that for a year. And then when I got my first part-time help, her first job was to like take the pallet and all the boxes away because we were getting a little shed. We have what's the local Mennonites that live in this area, Mennonites and Amish folks. We got a beautiful pre-made shed from them. I think it cost me $2,000 at the time. And that was our first farm store. And I still use that shed to this day. So we're now operating. It's funny, it always looks amazing online, and it is amazing, but we're operating out of essentially two of these pre-made sheds.
Wow.
One of them, the original one was like a 12 by 10. Now we have an additional one beside it that it is like a 12 by 20. So we have these pre-made sheds we operate out of, and we do over $500,000 in sales out of those sheds in my front lawn for flowers every year. So we really developed it into essentially running a flower shop out of these little sheds. And they still they've got hydro to them, which is great. The first shed is now the cooler. We've got a cool bot in it, and it's the cooler. And then
the whole thing is just a walk-in cooler then.
Is the sales. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. But we've turned it still doesn't have proper heat, so we use a space heater to heat it in the winter. But my gosh, we make it look really cute. We have had it professionally photographed a bunch of times. So of course I'm able to use those gorgeous images to put out on our website and online to let our customers know to come out to us. That all makes a huge difference in marketing. And even though I'm so passionate about it, because we live out in the country, we live in a very rural area. We are about 10 minutes off of the highway. There's nothing around us. Like if you're coming to us, you are making the trip. You're not going to drive by and see it and be like, oh, that's cute, I should stop. You're really making the trip out, especially for us. So to be able to kind of do that and know that it's possible to sell $500,000 of flowers out of a shed in our front lawn, I feel like so much is possible for so many of us.
Wow. Melanie, is Toronto the closest city, or what?
Toronto is the closest big city, and that's about 2 hours west of us. Okay. So, and where we live, it's maybe, I think there's like 50,000 folks in our town.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're right between Toronto and Ottawa.
Okay.
Basically. It's like 2.5 hours in either direction.
And it's called Trenton, right?
Trenton.
Okay. Wow. So that is all the more reason why your social media is kind of your billboard to get people to get behind the wheel and drive out to your farm.
Yes.
What are your other channels? I know that you started selling, or at least I saw you posted about the Toronto flower market, which is a kind of a special thing in the summer.
Yes. Okay. So our other sales channel. So this is funny. Pre-pandemic, I spent all of this time building a destination business that customers would drive out specifically to us. And that was all fun and games until the pandemic, of course, at which point no one was allowed to come and see us. And I remember the pandemic starting in March, and here I am thinking, okay, I have 60,000 tulips planted that are going to be blooming in 4 to 6 weeks, no matter what. They don't care that no one can come to us.
Oh my gosh.
That was kind of the we need to figure out how to have other sales channels. We had a website, but it wasn't like a shoppable online thing. We popped ourselves onto Shopify right away and did a real quick pivot and started the online avenue of our business. So as of now, and we started offering delivery, started a delivery service. So, and at that time it was either delivery or curbside pickup was always the big thing.
Oh,
We
right.
did that through
Contact free.
Yes, contactless curbside pickup was the term.
Right.
So where we're at now with our sales avenues is we have the farm stand where customers can come and purchase from us. We have our delivery service that runs 5 days a week, Wednesday through Saturday. We have flower subscriptions that customers can purchase for pickup or delivery. And then customers can also shop on the website just for pickup and pick it up at the farm. I also have retail partners. So we've partnered with cafes, bakeries. We've got about 5 retail partners now. And our deal with them is that they purchase X number of bouquets a week. We drop them off to their location. We send our customers to them. And one tip I will just give quickly on that is I learned very quickly. First, we were doing consignment with those retail partners. And they would let us know how many bouquets they sold during the week. Terrible idea. No consignment ever because they have no skin in the game.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter to them whether they sell 2 bouquets or 10. So if I would drop off 10 bouquets and only 2 sold, I'm losing.
You've lost money.
Yeah, I lose on those 8. So reestablished all those retail partnerships during the pandemic that now our retail partners can purchase our bouquets in batches of 10 for their location. And if they sell out, then they can reorder another batch of 10. And they're just purchasing them straight up at a wholesale price. And then I've trained my customers to know that they can go to those locations. Yeah. And then the final avenue we have is that just this past year, we started vending at the Toronto Flower Market, which it's about a 2-hour drive for us east. And it's amazing. It happens once a month. Second Saturday of every month. And it's basically a big flower party in a park. I'm really fortunate that we are in enough proximity to go there because there's about 20 other vendors there and thousands of people show up to this park every month and they come specifically to buy flowers and they are enthusiastic. And my goodness, when you're used to like being in Trenton in a rural area where I am, to just be in a park where you have thousands of people that are like, yes, take my money. What a situation.
You feel like a rock star. Is that tomorrow then, Melanie?
It's tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
So that's actually what these cute little bud vases are for.
Good. Well, I've always wanted to come to that. It's never worked out, but it's May through October, right?
It is. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
And one thing I will say about it is I was really scared to add a new sales channel. Because there's just so many things that are unexpected. And we did $100,000 in sales last year over those 6 markets.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
There's such a hunger for local flowers. There
really is. And it's really something to be said for being in a city in proximity to so many people and people that have flowers on the brain. So that was really cool. So those are our sales channels now.
Okay. My head is spinning. All right. I'm so excited that people are going to get like the full presentation from you because then you're going to have slides and stories and do a design demo at the Slow Flower Summit in literally like just over a week.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going to jump over to Janis now. Will you hang around, Melanie? Because I know we'll do a little Q&A afterwards.
Oh my gosh, I want to hear Janis. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to unpin you and get Janis on here. I love the fact that I finally learned how to do all this groovy, Zoom stuff. Janis, hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Oh, great. Well, listen, you're also in Ontario, Harris Flower Farm. You've also been on the Slow Flowers podcast a couple times. I'm going to go ahead and put those links in the chat if people want to go back and listen. But you've had an arc that also was pre-COVID and post-COVID. Can you kind of give everyone a snapshot of what Harris Flower Farm is now? And we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is our 16th year growing flowers. So it's been a long time of that. But I really only have been full-time for 4 years. So pre being a full-time flower farmer, I went to school to be an optician. And that was my career as an optician. And I worked through having babies, worked through working and all that kind of stuff, and to the point where it got to be that I could be full-time here on the farm. So
Wow.
it's kind of, I feel like we've been a long time, but then I'm learning all like the new business kind of stuff too, because it's definitely a change going from having your farm as your third income for the family rather than it being your sole income. So it was a lot of figuring that out, and like Melanie was saying, like figuring out how you can sustain yourself through the winter time, because you're not getting a paycheck even like all the time. You have to sustain yourself, figure out how you're going to be able to keep going, and then also your staff that you have on as well. So figuring out how to keep them employed through the winter time and what you can do with them. So we do like a lot of the farmers markets, and we do all that kind of stuff. We still go to that original farmers market that we went to from the beginning. But we also have changed and are doing a lot of weddings and doing that kind of thing as well. So focusing on that, but still doing the other parts as well. So we do a lot around here. Luckily, I have a really great team of people to help me with that. Like even today, we have 4 weddings tomorrow, so we're still getting that all finished up for the weekend, and they'll also be doing the bouquets for the farmers market and our wholesale bouquets to the little grocery stores as well. So through
Wow.
COVID, it was kind of neat how we changed and, like Melanie said, made our website so people could actually buy from us on there. And we were doing little cheer up bouquets. And then now our website is like a full all the time. I have one person who's my delivery driver, and he's delivering almost every day, orders out for birthdays or anniversaries or all that kind of thing.
Janis,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the link. I can't find it really quickly, but I'll put it in our show notes. In the early
Okay.
days of COVID, we did an interview with you. It was either for the podcast or on a Zoom, where you were just making it up as you went along, and
Yeah, I was totally like hustling flowers.
no,
I
you
was
were
like,
nailing it though. You had some app to figure out delivery routes, and you had like,
yeah,
Clorox in a bottle, like all the things that
yeah, yeah.
made your
So we,
your mobile
because
flower shop
like
work.
yeah, I think I like was like trying to like champion and thinking I was gonna like save the flower world or something. But all of those growers who maybe don't have a retail connection with the people, they're selling through the flower auction in Toronto, and that their flowers are programmed. Like they're like Melanie was saying, they're gonna flower no matter what, and they have them scheduled year round. Like they are going all the time. It's a constant schedule. So when everything shut down, they still had all those flowers blooming. And I think all of us don't like to throw out any flowers. So they didn't want to be throwing them out. And I said, well, I can take some of them. And I had that connection with the customers in our area. So I put up these little cheer up bouquets, and I was paying like what I could, but also not very much. It was a lot of them were giving me flowers. I would buy 2 buckets and they'd give me a bucket for free or something like that, just because we were trying to get those flowers out into the world rather than throwing them out.
So these are fellow flower farmers in Ontario who normally sold through the auction.
Yeah, I
Wow.
met so many of them that way. And there was ones who was like, I get a phone call. I heard from this person that you're taking flowers and yours, I have a whole bunch of whatever. Do you want some of them? And so I was like, people were getting like ranunculus and hellebores and all these like amazing flowers just because they were flowering like they were supposed to and didn't know
Wow.
that anything else crazy was going on.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a superwoman complex going on because you had nothing else on your plate, Janis. Come on. You've
Yeah.
got 3
Well,
kids.
I mostly, it was like Melanie said too. Like I knew that all my tulips were blooming too. And it's like, what am I gonna do? So I need to figure out something. And so that's why I was like, okay, I'll get some from other people, make up these little bouquets. And I called them cheer up bouquets. People were buying them, and like I was no contact delivering them. And I would
Yeah.
put up 100 of them or something. And they were tiny ones. I think I was selling them from like $9 or something like that, like super cheap. And I would put up 100 of them and they'd be gone in like minutes. And
Wow.
it was like people were sending them to family that they couldn't go and see or whatever. So it was a neat experience. I don't want to repeat it, but it
No.
was a neat experience.
No. So, okay, so what lessons from that have you kept and what have you discarded? Because weddings and events are really what you're known for, but you also do wholesale and sell direct to consumers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think figuring out who and what I need to grow, because I can get good flowers from other people and I don't need to grow everything. And just making those connections with the other growers and then getting their good flowers from them to put with my flowers. So really connection with other people for sure. And even when I did that, those little cheer up bouquets, I said to these farmers, and they're just like normal, like farm guys, most of them are guys and that. I was like, can you send me a family picture of your family picture? And they're like, well, okay, why? I was like, because I'm going to tell these customers who they're buying from. And you guys aren't a face of the company and they don't know you because you're selling to the auction all the time. So I'm going to say, in our bouquets this week, we have, look at this family is growing these flowers and you're buying them from this family. So it was really a connection for them to know who they were buying from, because those other farmers don't necessarily have to put their face out there.
Yeah.
They sell them as like through the auction. So
yeah.
that was a big thing for them, was like, give me a picture of you. I need to tell you.
Well, it's
tell your
sort
story.
of it's your leadership for, even at the time, I think you were still on the board of ASTFG for Canada. You had a lot of expectation to elevate awareness of domestic flowers across the country.
Yeah.
Kind of nice that you retired from that, right?
Moving into that, I mean, we're doing the weddings and we're doing that as well, but we still, because like, I don't want to only focus on wedding, because COVID also taught me a lot about how weddings can disappear too. So I don't only focus on weddings. We're getting back to normal, but within that too, I mean, we're seeing smaller maybe size weddings, which is okay with me too. Like, because like I said, I'm doing 4 weddings this weekend. There's no installs, there's no any of that kind of stuff. It's all ones that we can handle. And it's like go that way. But I would say 2 to 3 is our norm for a weekend.
Are they pick up or do you deliver? How do you set that up?
No, we go and set them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where my app comes in handy too, where I can like route out my route of where all I'm dropping off everything.
I'm going to put your website up too, because speaking of putting your family photo on, let's see, look, you have a pop-up. I think I need to. Yeah, that's nice.
I didn't do that, Melanie. Trust me, I have no idea how that got there. The website guy did that.
Love it.
No judgment. We like it. Okay, so I'm going to go first of all. So you have a separate business, which is your husband's pork business. So that's kind of
it's
cool
definitely
combo.
A small side of it. The pigs are a small side. I tease that Mark is the bad smelling part and I'm the good smelling part of the farm.
But you're getting some compost or manure from the pigs, right?
Yes.
All right. I like that. And then there's this adorable family photo. So like, you're all about telling your family story.
Yeah. The kids get funny about it when we go places. They're like, everybody knows you. Everybody knows you. I'm like, well, they know you too. So you guys gotta behave.
Oh, that's a great photo. But you also drag your parents into the family business. I mean, or they dragged you in, really, Janis, right?
Well, I mean, they drove me to be an optician, and then I decided to come back to it. So,
but the reason I brought that up,
I definitely did not want to be farming.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, you grew up on a farm, though, right?
Yeah. So they had vegetables, and my teenage self would not be farming.
Well, right here on the top is the newsletter link. So you're also trying to develop your direct to consumer messaging.
Yes, I worked on in the wintertime. I have not touched that as much now. It's
okay.
Hard. I'm working on it.
Yeah, no, I want to just click through. So you've got right now under shop, you've got the P&E business.
And then, those are our subscriptions.
Yeah.
We do the subscription. That's the way that I may have money to get through the winter, is people buy the subscriptions in November and then we get the money then. That sustains me over the winter time. And then we're able to and we're delivering the subscriptions now this time of year.
Of either specific to peonies or just the monthly flower bouquet, which is sort of like
the
designer's
peony one
choice.
we added. yeah, we added the peony one this year because my dad, as he's like retiring, decided to put in like 500 peonies because that's a retirement job apparently. He's been working really hard in June. So it's really funny that peonies are is yeah, there's my dad there. So that's his
Oh,
peonies. So he found last year they were really producing well, and he went to a few farmers markets, and he found that once they were blooming everywhere, he couldn't get the same good price for them
mm,
anymore because
mm,
people didn't want to pay as
mhm.
much for them as he should have been getting. So I said to dad, well, this year, why don't we market it with my monthly subscriptions, because we do 210 monthly subscriptions. And with that, why don't we put out a peony subscription? Then those people will buy the peonies at the right price in the wintertime, and they're super excited to be getting them all like 4 weeks in June in peony season. They get peonies every week, and they're super excited. And he got a good price for them and got more than what he made on them last year because we were
Right,
pre-selling them and getting them at a good price.
right. So they're paying $180 and they're getting a bouquet every week
4 weeks, yeah,
for
4 weeks
4 weeks.
of
So
bouquets.
that is a good price. That's like a $45. Am I doing the math right? $45 bouquet. That's pretty cool. What a nice add-on too for your, I mean, do people who get the flower bouquet subscription just double up, or do they put a pause on the monthly flower bouquet
Nope, there
during
has
peak?
been people that have doubled up, which really surprised my driver. Because I have a separate driver that does our deliveries, and the one he went up to a house and there was a bouquet already there, and he was like, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" But Dad had been out and taken his one already, so he was worried that there was already flowers there.
I love it. And I just quickly want to look at some of the scale, size, and pricing of your these are your kind of everyday arrangements that people can
Yeah,
order.
so we do a $25 mason jar arrangement, a $50 vase arrangement, and a $100 arrangement. We've always made it, and I think it comes back from my parents as well. So my parents had organic vegetables, and they were like organic before organic was cool. So they always said that they wanted organics to be affordable, that you could feed your family with organic food,
Hmm.
not for the people who had lots of money or the people in the city that had lots of money could be the only ones to afford organic food. They wanted it to be affordable that you could feed. So I've kind of taken the same mentality. I want people to be able to feel good about sending a $25 arrangement. Not that it's going to be skimpy and small and they're going to be embarrassed to send that. They can send a $25 arrangement to a friend who's sick, or because they
Hmm.
want to tell them that they're thinking about them or something. They get a nice bouquet. It's a like good price point for us, and they can do that. I don't want it to be that people can't send flowers or have
Yeah.
to choose and say, oh, I can't buy my friend flowers this week because I need to
Yeah.
feed my family, kind of
Are
thing. So
that's a pretty generous mason jar right there that I'm looking at. And
that one's a little bit full, maybe
or
from
just,
that side.
well, I know it probably depends on what you're cutting, but
Yeah.
do you charge a delivery fee on top of that?
Yeah. Yeah. So into St. Thomas was just like we're the first county road outside of St. Thomas. We charge $7 to go into there, and then $10 to go to London or anywhere farther around. So
Okay.
we do charge a. So for someone to be able to send something for $35,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
nice and that they
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah. And then I was going to go on to weddings, but you've got your a
Yep.
la carte wedding packages, which
Yeah, and this is
seem very
picked up
affordable.
too. Yeah, with this one, it's picked up since COVID. This is people who are just like, I don't meet with these people at all. All they do is place the order. They get a bouquet and a boutonniere for the bridal package. They can tell me a color palette or not. Usually they'll say, oh, I really like spring stuff, or can you make it really colorful or whatever. And they pick it up at the farm. It's just a nice bouquet, and it's kind of elevated. If they're going to the courthouse or something like that, they can have a nice bouquet that way.
Yeah.
So these ones are picked up at the farm. I don't meet with them. I don't do anything. It's just they order them on the website, paid when they order, and then they pick them up the day of the wedding. So we do, that's been ones where people don't necessarily need any decor or anything like that. All they want is the bouquets and boutonnieres for their bridal party. Another cool part about what has happened since COVID is we've paired with a couple of venues that do micro weddings.
Oh, cool.
So with that, they book everything. The venue, one of the venue owners is a photographer, so she does the photography. Her sister is a hairdresser, so she does the hair and makeup and that. They have an officiant that comes in. They have a caterer if you want that, and they have a space for 30 to 50 people, I think it is. And then they just tell us that they need a bouquet and boutonniere on that day, and then they pick up. So you basically show up and get married.
And they're kind of marketing
really
your flowers.
fun.
Yeah, they're marketing your flowers as part of the package then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put this up, where to find our flowers. You have an on-farm flower cart as well. And was that during COVID that you built that up?
It was before COVID that we had it, and it was out every day, and people could just stop by and self-serve. We changed that now just because we find we're so busy with taking flowers to all the other, like the other markets listed on that page there are like, we're taking wholesale bouquets to them all the time, so that people can get our flowers kind of at any of those stores now. So we decided we don't need to necessarily stock the flower cart at the farm every day. So it's just open on Saturday mornings. And it's funny because our market is a 7-minute drive from our farm. Like, it's not far at all, but there's people who will come to the farm and not go to the market, or if they're coming from London, they'll, instead of going into St. Thomas, they will just come to the farm there. So we have it set up the same time, like the flower cart's open 9 to 1, the market in St. Thomas is 8 till 12, and both of them are selling flowers at the same time, and that's been working well since. And through COVID, they called us a garden center, so we were allowed to be open selling flowers from the farm that way.
It's interesting. I feel like you and Melanie both, I'm going to put Melanie on here now too, so we can kind of have a three-way. I feel like you both are conveying a message, which is being aware of how customers want to purchase flowers and tailoring the services to meet that particular customer. I think that that's more work. But I remember interviewing Jamie Rogers from Killing Florist Flower Farm about his delivery service across the state of Montana. And he basically said, and he was speaking about florists, but he said, these florists, I need these florists more than they need me. They can get flowers in many ways, but I need to make it easy for them to buy from me. And it sounds like you two are adopting some of that philosophy too. Is that fair to say?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think just a note about, checking in with customers and doing and engineering ourselves in the way that the customers need us. This sounds so silly, but a basic thing that I sometimes forget is we just have to ask our customers, what do you want? And I learned this earlier in the spring. We've been making mixed bouquets of tulips for years. We always do all the beautiful mixed colors of tulips with the pussy willows. So pretty. Oh my gosh, it never occurred to me to just ask the customers, is this what you want? You know what? It turns out the customers just want to buy solid color bunches. My customers wanted to buy solid color bunches of tulips. I don't have to do any of that work.
Right. All that labor you're saving. It's amazing.
Labor. My gosh, we process them into solid color bunches, of course. That's all we had to do. From there, I just had to wrap them and put them in the farm stand. 75% of the time, my customers were buying them that way, and they're buying more flowers because they would buy 2 or 3 bunches because they want to make their own mixes at home.
God, lesson learned.
My tulip sales, it decreased my labor by 75%, and it was exactly what my customers wanted. And it's just that I forgot to ask them more often, what do you want? And when I asked them, how do you want to purchase your tulips, they told me, and I was like, oh great, that's easier for all of us. Okay.
Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for me of like, check in with your people.
Yeah.
See what the customer needs. Like Janis was saying too, like how do they need to buy flowers? Where do they want to buy them? Let's backwards engineer it to make that possible.
Well, I think that's so interesting that Harris Flower Farm's stand is open at the same time as the farmer's market, and everybody's happy that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have one lady too that she goes to the market first and then she comes to the farm, and she'll drop like $80 at the market and then another 100 at home. It's so awesome.
It's more profitable for her to buy direct for you if she buys direct from you, right?
Well, she can go to either, and she will go and, oh, I just saw the market, and then come to the farm.
Do you think that the market presence that you've had for so long, Janis, is what is generating all your wedding clients, or where are your wedding clients coming from?
The weddings, a lot of it now is like a bridesmaid that was in a wedding a year ago or 2 years ago. There's a lot of that where it's like we're seeing the same people, which is good and also a challenge because we're finding now that those bridesmaids maybe don't live as close as the bride did. So now we're getting inquiries for farther weddings. So our like distance away is increasing a little bit more, which I don't love because to drive an hour to go and set up a wedding takes a lot longer than if it's a close by one. So a lot of them are coming through that. And then also people know that on Saturday afternoons, I'm going to probably be posting wedding pictures or bouquets. And there's a lot of our followers that know. And all of our weddings, unless I've totally forgot to take the picture, all of our weddings, their bouquet gets up there. So it's really, I think, important to show what we're doing and show they can also then scroll through and know what's going to be blooming about the same time in the year.
Janis, is that your arm in the bouquet photo that you post? Because
Usually
you have
it is my
kind
arm.
of the same setting all the time, right?
And that's what we do. They know that they're going to see that gray barn board with the bouquet and my arm there, and they just know who it is. And yeah.
But that's kind of cool too, because it's consistent branding. So visually, you're presenting that bouquet throughout the whole season.
If it's a different background, then I've forgotten to take in the picture before we leave or something. So
I think people are just enthralled with both of you and your stories. And I'm so excited that you'll both be at the Slow Flower Summit. So the way it's set up is Janis and Melanie are both going to present back to back kind of stories of their farmer-florist business. But then we've found through surveying all of our past attendees that one of the things that people love the most is seeing a design demo. So Melanie and Janis will both end their presentations doing a design demo. I'm wondering, are you going to do hand ties or vases, or what are you thinking? Or are you going to just see what the flowers are and that'll inform it?
I think I'll do a bouquet, a wedding bouquet.
I think we'd like to see that. Yeah. And what about you, Melanie?
I'm waiting for inspiration to strike when I see what we have available.
Great. Well, as I was telling Melanie before we started recording, we were partnering with the Cooperative Flower Network of Edmonton, which is a year two flower hub of all local flowers. And it's going to be great because we're going to have Alberta grown flowers during our summit, which is, it's still early. It's still tulip season up in Edmonton.
I know when you told me that, I was so like done with tulips, but now I'm like, oh yay, tulips again.
I feel the same way. I can't even picture a tulip at this point. That seems like forever ago.
Right. Well, I mean,
really
it's great. It's great because we know it's local, and we are started just sent out the word to everybody who's attending who is a farmer or a farmer florist to bring a bucket from their farm, which we've had great success in the past putting that out there. People want to share what they're growing, and it's really fun to see really unusual, perennials or annuals or flowering branches that maybe you've not seen before. So there'll be a big surprise element too.
I'll leave a little spot in my suitcase for some flowers too.
Ooh, okay. Okay, great. Design on demand. Thank you both so much. This has been wonderful. I see some people who are in the attendance today who are, I know for sure, coming to the Slow Flower Summit. So you all are getting the sneak peek preview. And one of the things I'm very excited about being at Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity is that it's going to be intimate. We're going to have a group where attendees can hang out with speakers can hang out with each other. It's just 2.5 days, but we'll have some really, I think, a lot of downtime for good conversation. And that's what we all want to draw from, what we want to learn when we come. So, and what we want to share. Sarah Riaz is posting that she's excited for next week. And Sarah was a speaker last year. She owns Wildflower and Fern in the Oakland area and the Bay Area. She's got the perfect attendance record of the only person who's attended all Slow Flower Summits. So hi, Sarah. That's great. Thank you all so much. We'll have a recording of this to share next week. And Melanie and Janis, I will see you in person to give you big hugs very soon when we all are together at Banff. I will just end this by saying we are taking the summer off. So our next Slow Flowers meetup will be in September, and it will be Friday, September 13th. I already have the speakers lined up, so I'll be announcing that probably in August. And we just appreciate it when people join in our community. Thanks so much. Take care.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
Mel.